Yo, 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 yo. How's it going, everybody? LSU beat McNeese State 34-7, as they should. Clear win, definitive victory, but does it prove anything? We'll discuss that. We'll make sure everything's good here on our end. Get some people in here. Let's see, let's make sure. Yep, there we are. Let me post this link. Everybody, bring in your absolute questions, your absolute comments. We want them all, because what I want to know what you think this reveals about this LSU team. What does it mean? Yeah, underwhelming, very underwhelming for me. If you look at that offense, look at the offensive output we put up against that team. We allowed McNeese State to really limit us on critical key downs too, which is very upsetting to me. And yeah, I want to get into that as well. I just don't understand what's going on, like timing, what's up. But well, okay. We have 34-7. Coach Orgeron taking down his son's McNeese State. But the stat line just really is kind of cringeworthy. You're expecting a few 100-yard days, and that's supposed to be getting the confidence up for a team that was below the bar we expected already. But when your leading rusher is a freshman with 56 yards and your leading receiver is a freshman with 57 yards, maybe LSU isn't as good as we thought they were. We predicted 2 losses this season in our record prediction piece. We predicted 2 losses, and we did not expect one of those to be to UCLA, obviously. But with that UCLA loss, I always felt like psychologically that could have some big problems. And they've reared their head. They've reared their head, and it's not what we want to see. LSU was not. They were still pretty sloppy out there, even with everything going down. All these sacks, all these pressures. There was still some really disappointing drops. Let me look at the tally I've got for drops here. Dre Jenkins dropped 3 passes, all 3 targets that went his way. Kayshon Boutte had 1 drop. It was reviewed. It looked like a nice sideline catch on 2nd and 10. Great throw for Max Johnson, but Boutte was unable to retain possession. Another came out from a hit, and another came out from a contested pass. So Boutte let some go as well, even while scoring 2 touchdowns on the day. But Brian Thomas Jr., 2 targets, 2 drops, both very lackadaisical plays from him. Both coming from some pretty good Garrett Nussmeier passes. I don't know why Garrett Nussmeier wasn't. I don't know why Thomas Jr. wasn't in the game more earlier. Get him in the rhythm. Him just being on the bench the whole game. No wonder there was that lackadaisical kind of play. Alex Adams also had 1 drop as well. So you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, roughly 8 drops there from the offense. This is a receiving core we thought would be unbelievably full of expert playmakers, guys all over the field who are willing to challenge Kayshon Boutte and raise their game because of playing alongside a guy like Kayshon Boutte. Such a tradition of top, expert, brilliant receivers. And this is what they produce. Back-to-back games where the leading receiver, who isn't Kayshon Boutte, is only 57 yards or something like that. And today, the only really leading receiver on the day has 50-plus yards. That's not going to cut it. I mean, McNeese State let us walk all over them, but I just can't see LSU even being able to really be able to definitively beat Mississippi State. If they're going to beat Mississippi State, it's going to be a very close, very grinded out, survivable type of win. Just barely surviving through Mississippi State. I'm worried. I mean, they still got big hits right on Max. They still got a lot of pressures right up Max. Boom. Getting him right in the head, getting him right in the rib cage. Offensive line. I mean, there was a play where Ed Ingram completely just blocked Casper. He looked tired and out of shape, like they said this week in the press conference. Unbelievable comments this week on the press conference from Ed Ingram and center Liam Shanahan. And man, didn't he look like it? Again, Ed Ingram, the best offensive lineman we have on this team who we're supposed to depend on, completely leaves Xavier Hill with a double team. And, of course, that guy goes flying in right on Max, just a free shot. Just free shots at the quarterback. There were some plays where Max was let down by some drops. There were some plays where Max threw the ball with some poor accuracy, some poor timing. It just didn't seem like there was any rhythm with the receiving core with Johnson or Nussmeier. Nussmeier made some excitable plays, extending the pocket, some things like that. He gets your blood going for sure. But Max, I don't know why we're not moving him more, letting him extend the pocket more. Maybe Max needs to take that on himself and say, "Hey, I'm gonna be more in control of this offense." Because on the plays where he feels more in control, where his every move kind of guides the offense, it feels like we tick along. He had that really strong 10-yard rush where he's making guys completely miss in the backfield. I think he had 3 evaded sacks with moves in the backfield, but not a strong night from Max. I can't sugarcoat it. Not a strong night from our starting quarterback. He still had some confidence with those touchdown throws. Those touchdown throws were filthy. He still had some fantastic displays of passing out there. But at the same time, against McNeese State, we were expecting, 400 plus yards. We were expecting not just stats, but just domination in all phases of the game. And yes, he had those first 2 fourth down conversions that were pretty badass. 1 third down conversion as well to Deion Smith, but 3 third down incompletions as well. That hurt us big time. 3 third down incompletions just in the first half. That hurt us. Coy Moore, only 1 target, interestingly. Devontae Lee, no targets. Ty Davis Price, 2 first downs, 2 gains of 15-plus yards. He had a 21-yard catch. Some big runs as well. Corey Kiner came in, freshman, scored a big touchdown. Ended up being the leading rusher on the day against that tiring McNeese defense. But at the same time, that's no joke either. That's fantastic. 5.1 yards per carry from Corey Kiner, 4.6 yards per carry from Ty Davis Price, 8 for 37 from Ty. Armani Goodwin had two rushes, 23 yards. He looked good on that 21-yard carry, but then he hurt himself on the play. Was able to return, though, but was quite limited. Just 36 rushes for 126 yards. Piss poor. That's piss poor. Got to call it like I see it. That is piss poor. You got Jack Besh having a fantastic night. 4 catches, 57 yards, 14.3 per catch. 24-yard long one as well. I mean, he was fantastic tonight. But beyond him, Kayshon Boutte, only 5 catches to 31 yards. 2 touchdowns, though. The 2 touchdowns were sick, but Boutte, I feel, was even underperforming. Trey Palmer, 3 for 30. Cole Taylor had that nice 4th down conversion, that 7-yard catch. But Deion Smith, his first catch as a LSU Tiger, then he gets a second one. He gets that nice 3rd down conversion. But, yeah, nothing really too much. The defense did exactly what we were hoping they would do. They caused a lot of havoc, a lot of sacks. I think Cody Warsham said 6. Other people said 8. It looks more like 10 or 11 or something, but there was some called back by penalties, but a lot of impressive pressures there. Jaquelin Roy had a fantastic play where he poked that ball out and recovered his own fumble in the same play. Unreal from number 99. Disgusting filth right there, my man. Incredible. Colton Reed says, love this channel. Can't wait for the University of Florida LSU game. We can't either, my man. That's gonna be a hell of a game. It's gonna be intense. Emory Jones, or who's your quarterback now? Has Emory Jones been unseated by some type of backup? Did I hear some type of rumors of that nature? Either way, yeah, Colton, that game's going to be high octane. I'm looking forward to that. 2 kind of struggling programs in the wilderness right now. Let's see. Let's get some more people in here. Come on, it's Saturday night, baby. It's Saturday night. Let's go. Come on, baby. This is LSUOdyssey.com's Lon Phillips Sullivan here tonight on the Voice of College Football's channel, their SEC channel. Also with the LSU channel as well. Subscribe to those links as well. Yeah. LSUOdyssey.com. Definitely subscribe there. The magic, mystique, and mayhem of LSU football, baby. We got it all. Definitely as well. But you definitely need to donate and get some type of relief for the people of Louisiana from CajunRelief.org. That supports the Cajun Navy and what they do recovery efforts, and we need them every single hurricane season. And without, sometimes it takes federal relief and all those people that a long time for them to actually get their crap together, even the local governments, to come help. So a lot of times you gotta trust those local guys. Redcross.org as well. Donate to them as well. They're going for Hurricane Ida relief big time. Once again, they're fortified in there now, and they are prepared to help people and are doing that right now. So help them. There's another one as well. allhandsandallhearts.org. They are a local Louisiana charity, 4-star rated by Charity Navigator. I believe you should definitely donate to them as well if you're looking to help out these people in Louisiana who have been devastated by this hurricane. Hurricane Ida, it wreaked its havoc, and there are people who are just barely able to return home. And there's people I know who had to flee to Texas and elsewhere just to get away from this, and just were praying and hoping that they would return and their homes would be okay. And there's been some lucky stories, some awesome miracles that happened, but there's been a lot of devastation and some people who definitely need your help. So please donate to them. It'll be fantastic when LSU can get some type of big win against a big team and kind of bring some joy and some pride, some happiness back in the local Louisiana love for the purple and gold, because they kind of let them down with that UCLA game. Not gonna sugarcoat it. The area needed that win, and the team kind of let them down. But tonight, they got back to business. And things looked smooth for the most part defensively, as they should. Some good plays in the backfield from Micah Baskerville. Some good plays in the backfield from Cam Lewis as well. He was pressuring the quarterback. He dropped an interception as well. He should have came up with that pick. Andre Anthony had a great game. I think it was 2.5 sacks. Felt like more. BJ Ojolari, I believe, had only just the 1 sack. But man, he was all over the place. Mason Smith, I swear he had at least 2 sacks, but I feel like the dude had like 3. Mason Smith was just drowning Cody Orgeron. He was all over him, just burying the dude. It was a festival, a feast. It was nuts. It was nuts. It was Mason Smith as a freshman coming out and just burying guys. Let's look at here. Let's see how many pressures, because I was counting the pressures. I figured they would count the sacks correctly, but they haven't really released them, it appears, yet. If someone has those sacks, that'd be fantastic to send them my way. But Mason had 6 overall pressures by my count. A big penalty on Mason did take a sack away from I believe it was Jacobian Guillory. Desmond Little had 3 pressures off the bench, 1 sack. BJ Ojolari was wreaking havoc. 3 critical pressures, 2 forced and incompletion on 3rd down. 3 quarterback hurries, 3 big plays on 3rd down, including a tackle where he kind of hurt his shoulder. But he was able to return and played most of the game, so no worries about that injury, it appears, hopefully. Jaquelin Roy, like I said, forced and recovered his own fumble. The only turnover of the game for LSU. 2 pressures overall. Eli Ricks had 2 targets coming his way, but he did allow 1 completion. He did allow 1 completion over the middle, but he had 2 targets coming his way, nothing really too much. Stingley actually had a quarterback pressure and a quarterback hurry in this game, interestingly enough. And he had a penalty on him. Him and Ricks both had a penalty on each other. Or not on each other, but each one had a penalty. Andre Anthony, 4 pressures, the 1 missed tackle, but it feels like he had at least 2.5 sacks. Philip Webb, number 39, off the bench, had 3 pressures immediately in Cody Orgeron's face coming off that strong side. So the defense, we wanted to see more takeaways. We wanted to see more. We wanted to see more. We wanted to see a defensive touchdown. We wanted to see some kick-ass plays, and it felt like they held serve. They were fundamentally sound, but they should have been. There were some big plays that they gave up still. The big touchdown run, I believe it was, for McNeese State was just god-awful. Just god-awful play right there. Just our defensive line getting completely bullied. I hate to bring up his name, Mason Smith, great game as well, but he was bullied on that play, shoved straight into the inside, created that lane. And Devontae Strong, number 22, who had a great game himself, was making some good side-to-side tackles. I wouldn't say great, but a solid showing from Devontae Strong. Making some side-to-side tackles and some good plays. He could not stop him. The running back from McNeese, and they scored a touchdown there. Couldn't keep the shutout with 4 minutes remaining. That bugged me. The shutout would have been great to have. The shutout would have been beautiful. Exactly what this defense needed. Also, I wanted to say we are looking for people who would like to co-host this post game with us every game this season on the schedule. No true qualifications except for, I'm not really even specifically looking for LSU fans. I would like, of course, another LSU fan as well to join the conversation, but people who are actively interested in LSU and knowledgeable of LSU, people who have a vested interest in LSU, people who love the SEC, people who are interested in college football, people who can keep the conversation going, know when it's someone else's turn, who can give and take, who can have a rapport, a dialogue, not just someone who's going to come on and want, a soliloquy every time, like I'm doing here. If we're going to have guests, I want it to be back and forth in a fun, crazy event where it's just one awesome long conversation and people have just an awesome time watching it. I think that would be my ideal thing. So if you are interested, contact me or Mark Rogers. You can contact me at Lon Phillips through Twitter. You can contact me through my YouTube channel, either the LSU Odyssey channel through here, through the LSU channel on the Voice of College Football Network. Multiple ways to contact us. So, go ahead there. Shoot us a comment, even if you are interested in doing that. That would be great. We would love to vet and see what we can come up with there with as far as co-hosts and that type of thing. We'd love to have some guests come on and banter and talk about this LSU team, because there's so much going on and there's so many things that one person can't remember, because with this LSU team, there's so much drama going on. There's so many things. There's so many storylines. There's so many random events, and we need your help to kind of keep this train going, because it's getting convoluted right now. There's a lot of stuff with Coach Ed Orgeron in the air. I thought this game could be a game where he's distracted and LSU will suffer, and we did. You could say that, because we should have beaten McNeese State 45-10 or something like that. We should have beaten them by the score 34-7, But when you look beyond that scoreline, it was so underwhelming as an LSU supporter. It was so tepid. The energy. There were some strong plays where guys held serve, like I said, but just nothing exciting. No interception for a touchdown. There's a great play by Jaquelin Roy, but just it's alarming. This team doesn't feel like they're understanding how to go out there and smack people in the mouth. I don't know what it is. Is it a lack of energy? Is it a lack of – are these guys – I mean, if you look at that injury list, look at the people who are out of this game, okay? Look at the list of the names, because this is just when it comes down to it, depth and bodies. And I've always said this team needs to trust youth more. They need to go with the youth. And here you've seen a lot of the youth guys out there, but some of them, like Brian Thomas Jr., he got like 2 targets at the end. We haven't really seen too many of these guys. And when we have, they're just kind of thrown in there. But look at who was out today. Dwight McLaughlin, of course. Glenn Logan, of course. John Emery Jr. Trey Bradford just barely transferred in. Ineligible for today. Ali Gay, Jay Ward, Sage Ryan, Matthew Langlois, Thomas Perry, Cam Wire, Austin Deculus, Sony Fanua, Josh White, Todd Harris, Chris Hilton, Chasen Hines. I mean, is this a football program or a hospital? What's going on? What the hell's going on? Can somebody tell me what's going on with this team? Why are so many people hurt? There's been a lot of people questioning whether Tommy Moffitt should stay on this team, on the staff. He's been a guy who's been there since the year 2000. LSU has not won a championship outside of the Poll era without this guy as a strength and conditioning coach. And that used to be a thing of pride until it seems this week when Ed Ingram made those statements about being tired and out of shape. And a lot of people ran with it and said, something to pounce on LSU. Let's go on this. Let's go on this. Let's, stick the knives in. But when I looked into it, you can't ignore the facts. LSU have had so many injuries in the last 3, 4, or 5 years even. Go back to Leonard Fournette's time at the team. The guy could never stay healthy. Sometimes that's just teams going for guys' ankles after their ankles been banged up, stuff like that. But just look at even at the 2019 team. That team was littered with injuries. Grant Delpit, Rashard Lawrence, those guys played the entire season banged up. I mean, there was a lot of injuries going around on that 2019 team, and it painted over the cracks how deep and just furious that team was. And a lot of those guys are still on this team right now. And maybe they just aren't hungry. Maybe this team isn't hungry right now after the 2019 season. Maybe the guys who are on the team who've got that ring, they've got the SEC ring as well, and they've got the third ring too. It was all decked out with diamonds and all purple diamonds and all that stuff. Maybe they're not hungry. I mean, Avery Atkins is. He went out there and absolutely body slammed that dude on the kickoff or the punt, whatever it was. That was awesome. You can check that on my Twitter at Lon Phillips. We took a lot of great highlights from the game and posted them there on our Twitter at Lon Phillips. That's where we're usually posting our breaking news and things like that. But we've also got deep news where you're not going to see that anywhere else, only for LSUOdyssey.com subscribers. It's right there on the site, LSUOdyssey.com. We even posted one that may have some interest for you LSU fans tonight because it may have affected the team going into the UCLA game. Some inter-squad turmoil we were made privy to. And, we don't want to say too much about that, but if you are a subscriber, definitely check that out. But, once again, this team, I wonder if they're hungry. I wonder if they're hungry enough. But then you look at guys like Max Johnson, I feel like he's hungry. But is he being given a chance to perform at his highest? Once he gets in a rhythm, then there's a horrible drop. Once he makes a bad pass and he's looking to rebound, and he makes a great throw to Dre Jenkins for that third down, and Dre drops it immediately. Those things they kill momentum. They kill the spirit. They kill the rhythm. It's just, you cannot have it. And this receiving core totally let Max Johnson down. I was expecting this receiving core to have a few guys with 100 yards today, just because there's so much space for these guys to attack. There's so many dynamic playmakers on this team, but we can't get them the ball. We can't keep an offensive rhythm going. We just kept punting the damn football and turning it over on downs and just screwing up on third downs that were just far too easy for us to screw up. And I just don't know what's going on. Max is still getting hit. That offensive line is just beat to shit. You look at the list of guys who are out. Some guys, it's like Todd Harris, it's not missing too much. Dwight McLaughlin, wish we had his option, but when you got Rickson Stingley, you're okay. But you miss a guy like Jay Ward. That's just so bad for the defense. We actually saw Mike Jones Jr. finally play some reps. He came in at the end of the game, and he looked good. He was flying around, stuffing some gaps, having some pursuit, playing well. It can't really tell you that much, though, being at the end of the game like that. But for me, it just was good for Mike Jones Jr. to go out there and get some playing time. But seeing him on the sideline for most of that game was kind of ridiculous. This is a guy who I feel deserves to be out there above Damone Clark. Damone Clark's going to get some plaudits for however many tackles he had tonight. But, it doesn't really prove much to me, because most of the tackles are far way down the field, and it's still a gaping hole in this defense that a performance against McNeese State is not going to cover up. I just feel like this team is just, we beat up on this smaller team. We bullied them, so now we can flex our muscles. But it's like, it doesn't prove much for LSU. It was just a game to get some confidence going, and I feel like it just provides more questions than answers. 34-7 just provides more questions than answers. What are your questions? What are your questions? I want to know, because this team looks like they might only win 7 games this year. And I don't know if it's the receiving core is just not as good as we thought. They're not as deep as we thought. It's just Kayshon Boutte and a cast of characters who are dropping passes on third down that are just gimmies. The running game is non-existent, completely non-existent. Once again, it's just that offensive line. They cannot keep a consistent running flow going, but that offense seems to not really be able to keep consistent drives going. It's also a play calling issue too. They're either all passing or all running. There's no mixing it up. I saw some great play design there. There was a cool little reverse thing there that was going on. There was a jet sweep to Kayshon Boutte. There was Besh coming across a motion across the formation. Max snaps it and quickly gets it to Besh. And what do you know? 20 yards down the field. That's why you give the dude the ball. Just give the guys the ball as quick as possible. It just feels like we're not running as many plays as we could, as we should. I want to see how many plays we ran this game, because it just doesn't feel like we even had the ball that much. We are 4 of 16 on third down against McNeese. We only got one more third down than them. That's embarrassing. Only 306 total yards. Only 180 yards from both quarterbacks. 4.9 yards per pass. Just 0.3 more than McNeese State. 3.5 yards per rush. McNeese State beat us 31 minutes, 30 seconds in time of possession. We only had the ball for 28 minutes. I don't know if we can control teams anymore. I don't know if we can it's just very worrying signs about this team, y'all. Max Johnson looked really crisp in the red zone. I like his passing. I love what he did on fourth down, too. I think third down is the trouble down. Third down is the downs where we just don't know what we're doing. I don't know if there's a different play caller on third down, or if, I don't know if Jake Peets is calling some plays and DJ Mangus is calling others, or if it's just all Jake Peets with input from Mangus. But whatever it is, when we get to third down, it seems like we say, let's call Cam Cameron right now for this third down. Quick, get Cam Cameron on the phone. Hey, get Matt Canada on the phone. It's 3rd and 7. I have no damn clue what I'm doing. Get Matt Canada. It feels like that. On third down, we don't know what the hell we're doing. Just calling stupid plays on third down. And it's ruining Max Johnson's confidence. It's putting him in constant passing situations where, that's the thing, is we never have the defense on the back foot. And only rarely tonight did we actually make the defense work, actually cover every blade of grass on the field, the very philosophical tenets of Jake Pete's offense are about making the defense cover every blade of grass on the field. It's all about making the defense have to cover every guy. Every guy's a threat on every play. Pedal to the metal, balance, good running game, even stronger passing game. When you need it to be strong, a strong running game. The ability to run it down the throats, the ability to gash them, to gas them, to go over the top, multifaceted. And what we're seeing is just one-dimensional. It's and it's not impressive at all. It's not impressive. I don't know. LSU will not get to double-digit wins this season. I can promise you that. And this game proves that. If UCLA was an anomaly tonight, LSU could have won 34-0, but it's how they win that would have mattered to me. The eye test told me everything. It was just like this. Okay, well, this 5-year-old is getting candy. Whoops! Thank you for the candy, 5-year-old. I'm going to push you on the ground now into the snow while I walk away. That's what it was tonight watching the LSU team. There wasn't, we are going to absolutely destroy you and take your soul because we are absolutely sick and pissed off with what happened last week. There was nothing like that. And I don't know if it's because Coach Orgeron's son is on the other sideline and Coach O wanted to kind of soften his team for that, for his son's presence. I don't know, but I don't like it. This team should have absolutely kicked maximum ass tonight. This team should have left nothing on the field. And I feel like besides some of these key freshmen, you got Jack Besh, who was the best player on the night. You got to give him the ball way more than you did. I think it was only 4 targets, and he caught them all. That's not good enough. Keishon Butte was barely even targeted as well, only 31 yards. He did have some drops, though, too. It's just you go through it all, and it's just guys that should be showing up for the Tigers. should be taking advantage of these opportunities, and they're failing to, and it sucks because all these I talk to a lot of these guys. I love a lot of these players. These guys are great kids. They're great young men, and I feel like they're going to be playing at the NFL level someday. They have that ability, but I want their LSU Tiger careers to be memorable. And for the 2019 guys, the guys who were there, they feel like they've already done that. It feels like they're good with what they've done, with what they've accomplished. But these guys, these freshmen, these second-year guys, the 2020 class especially, I want them to be a part of something special at LSU. I don't want them to look back on their time and be like, God, why was I there when there was so much scandal and so much chaos and so much insanity and so much stuff about the head coach and so much stuff about the athletic department with Title IX and so much of this? And I'm sorry to say, but I think that's what a lot of them will remember it for. Hopefully they'll also remember it for some great times with LSU winning some big games, kicking some ass, and hopefully contending for national championships. But I'm sorry, after tonight, I don't think it will be this season. I think this is the game. UCLA should have told me that, and it did. But if there's a game that confirms that LSU, even though they're still technically mathematically in the hunt for all of those goals, this game tells me that they're just simply not prepared. They could win 75-0 against Central Michigan. That could look good. That could help. But a 7-point win over Mississippi State is probably the best. I would take that in my sleep right now if someone offered that to me. A 1-point victory over Mississippi State, I would take right now. If you gave me a safety 2-0 victory over Mississippi State right now, I'll take that. That's not because I don't believe my team. I don't know how we're going to get wins on the board when you can't run the ball. I don't know how we're going to protect Max Johnson when we can't run the ball. Let's see if we have any more comments here. Big Max says, Coach O doesn't make the necessary adjustments during the game. Max is not that guy, and Mike Jones should be starting a middle linebacker. Well, here's the thing. Coach O, he's the CEO of the team. It really should be the assistants making the adjustments. But that's why maybe we should be looking into a different style of head coach. A guy who knows even more about football and adjustments to the point that he's ready to smack that hammer down and say, hey, we need to change some things. We need to figure some things out here. These guys are getting way too much leverage here. These guys are passing us on us all day, whatever it is. Because sometimes it seems like Coach O doesn't really recognize those things. But as for Max is not that guy, I don't agree with that. There's a lot of course, the Max detractors will say this is the game that proves. This is the game that proves that Max isn't the guy. There were some bad throws tonight. Max didn't really have his best game at all. He would be the first to tell you that, though. He's not going to be somebody who's going to be resting on his laurels. He's going to improve from this, and he's going to get better from this. But I think the play calling and offensive line and his receivers with 8 drops, they also have some accountability too as well. You give him those 8 drops, he's probably well over 300 yards. This is not all on Max. And if you really want to start a true freshman again, through the bulk of this Mississippi State, Kentucky, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, if you want to start Garrett Nussmeier through those games, be my guest. But I'll be riding with Max for this season. Mike Jones should be starting a middle linebacker, though. Why not? Give it a chance, because Damone Clark is not the guy. Damone Clark's going to look all good with some big stat line tonight and few plays in the backfield, but to me, it won't paint over those cracks, as I've said. He is absolutely one of the king liabilities of this defense. And if we think that he's going to improve, you just can't gain that much speed overnight. Okay, he's not just going to be fast tomorrow. So Durante Jones needs to go with Devontae Strong and Micah Baskerville at linebacker, and then keep Cordell Flott on the field at nickel. Or you could go with a free safety look as well if you feel that the run isn't most notably what's going to happen. But either way, Cordell Flott was all over the field tonight, and his speed totally made up for a lot of just big space. He's just making up ground and making some good hits, making some great plays behind the backfield. It was just behind the line of scrimmage. I loved what I've seen from Cordell Flott now for 2 straight games, and that to me is something I didn't really expect coming into this season. I did not expect Cordell Flott to be kicking ass and taking names like that. I did not expect him to be not dominant, but he's been showing out big time. He's been kicking ass. And I think he needs a lot of credit for that because last year was a very tough year for him. I think he allowed 11 touchdowns, it was, on the season last year directly. 3 in one game against Alabama. He's been through a lot, but Cordell Flott has come into this season ready to kick ass and take some names. Sad to see Jay Ward out for a game. You just don't want to see any of these guys out for a game because it's just one less chance to see him, And these guys have so much talent. Jay Ward is a guy who, had he played tonight, maybe he has a pick 6. And because he's not out with a concussion, he doesn't have that opportunity. It guts me. And you see how many guys are out for this team. There's so many people out on this team. Jared Small, of course, with his torn ACL. I mean, Jared Small he worked so hard to get to that level that he was at, where he was absolutely destroying guys. Side-to-side speed was there, making interceptions, getting turnovers, and then he tears his ACL the week of game week, the first 2 days of game week. I mean, I feel so bad for Jared Small. I feel horrible for Jared Small. Jared Small, fantastic linebacker. He was showing it in the last few scrimmages as well. The scrimmage tapes I had, he was an absolute Louisianimal. This guy, I feel like LSU are losing a lot without Jared Small. I'm really feeling that because I don't think he's a guy who would have been an every down linebacker. But I feel like he's a guy whose energy and intensity and just fundamental just tackling abilities would have absolutely been that type of influencer. Would have been that guy it would have been addictive being around him, his type of abilities. Looks like we got some more comments in here. JCO, I just got back. I was at the game. He says, Max Johnson didn't meet my expectations. Why, JC? Tell us. Tell us in the comment section, JC. I want to know why you think Max Johnson did not meet your expectations. JC in the comment section was at the game. He's telling us Max Johnson did not meet his expectations. I'm going to ask him why. I want to hear fans back up their takes. It's only fair, right? Going to be posting this link here on LSUodyssey.com right now. Gotta change that picture. What is it? Just Showing the SEC championship logo. What is that? Sankey. Yeah, underwhelming from LSU. Underwhelming. I hate to say this, but I don't think the Tigers can win more than 7 games this year. I hate to say it. It absolutely really just it grinds my gears, but you know what? It's the truth. I'm not going to back down from the truth, and that's the thing. Everybody will know about me, right or wrong. I don't back down from that when it comes to saying what's on my mind, whether it be about a coach or the team, even players I talk to on a daily basis, coaches I talk to on a daily basis. They know I'm not going to hold back when it comes to that type of stuff. But the criticism is always going to be to uplift, not to be a hammer. You know, I want to help people get to their best of their abilities, be as successful as possible. I don't celebrate when people are down, unless it's Alabama. Then we'll kick their ass. But it's a Saturday night. Yeah, baby. Yes, it is. We got another comment here from Big Mac. I think our defense is built for a 3-4. Can you imagine Mason Smith, a nose guard? You know, why not try it? I'm so sick of this 4-3 purity. Aren't you? I'm just... Big Mac says that we should switch to 3-4. That's what his comment is. He wants us to switch to a 3-4. I agree with him. I mean, why not? But here's the thing. This is the extent I agree with you. I agree with you in the way that we should do the 3-4, but only on certain downs. But this defensive coordinator needs to familiarize himself with his players and their abilities ahead of Mississippi State. And these next 2 games are going to do that. This next game, I should say. But I wonder what will be the Tell the Truth Monday moments coming up on Monday. What the players are going to be told by the coaches, what the coaches are going to say about this performance, because it was tepid, it was underwhelming. It doesn't really show LSU in the best light, especially with 40-plus recruits there on hand to see the Orgeron Bowl. Look, many of the recruits who were there are stone cold LSU commits, hard commits who love the Tigers, who love being there, who love seeing the team, just like all of us. But there's going to be some guys we're going to miss out on because this team's freaking me out, guys. This team's freaking me out. I was expecting dominance from this team. Not completely dominant, wire to wire, unbelievable, just the greatest LSU team we've ever seen. No, I'm not saying that. I expected this team to be strong, to be solid, to have some energy and some accountability. But now you're seeing cracks appear. You're seeing guys blame each other and blame things like tired and being out of shape and just stuff you never hear. And you're seeing so many guys just be like, okay, I don't even want any part of this game. It's almost like they let each other take turns in the chaos, in the grinder mill. And I just don't understand what is going on at LSU. If there's some type of problem behind the scenes, is there any buy-in anymore? Do the players buy into the coach? Is the coach just berating them, screaming at them like we saw this week? Is there just a disconnect there? We wrote a very I guess, controversial article. I didn't realize it was this controversial, but I guess looking at all the messages I got with absolute hatred, but then there was some that were like, oh, I absolutely agree with you. But I wrote this article challenging Coach Ed Orgeron and his behavior off the field and his coaching since the 2019 national championship, his arrogance. And I stand behind every single word I wrote in that article because I love Coach O. I hope Coach O could coach this team until the day he dies. But you know what? It doesn't matter if you're perfect for LSU with being from Louisiana, being a Cajun guy, being a Tigers fan. This is your dream job, all that stuff. It doesn't matter if you can't keep your private life out of the public eye. Just it's in there nonstop. A slip up every now and then, you're a human being, that's going to happen. But just being so cavalier with it, that affects the team like you wouldn't understand, because it seems like since the title has come, there's just a rock star mode. Even tonight, it was, this is the game where I get to play my son. It wasn't, this is the game where LSU needs redemption and LSU needs to absolutely just bludgeon McNeese State by 50, 60. And you shouldn't be pulling your starting quarterback who needed every rep he could possibly get to get some confidence. You shouldn't have pulled him with a quarter and 52 seconds left in the game. I get that they wanted to see Nussmeier out there, but put Nussmeier in with maybe 10 minutes, 9 minutes left. You needed to give Max at least a few more drives. I just feel like you can't pull your starter out like that when he threw for 3 touchdowns today, but it was underwhelming, and he needed to get that confidence on his way out. I feel like that wasn't a smart decision either. You got to question the decision-making from this staff. There was a 3rd and 6 play call where they ran a draw right up the middle to TDP, where, of course, once again with that offensive line, 2 or 3 yards at max. I think he got like 1.5 yards, and then it's 4th down and 5. Somehow Max threw a 4th down and 5 screen, or sorry, not a screen, a 4th down and 5 pass to Cole Taylor for the 1st down. So it saved us from that, but it was a horrible play call on 3rd and 6. What are we doing? Running a draw, this little dive play on 3rd and 6. The hell is that? Like, what the hell is that? Big Mac, you right, and I don't see that guy with that fight in them. Big Mac, Lane Kiffin. Here's what I'll say about Lane Kiffin. Many have asked me about my thoughts on Lane Kiffin for a long time now. First off, one of my favorite play callers in the game. Second, I would take him on the LSU staff in a heartbeat. Third off, I love the way he recruits. I love the way he coaches. But here's the thing. Unless you're Saban or Belichick or some other type of figure like that, he's going to want to hold the keys to the car. And he's not going to be working for Coach Ed Orgeron. Lane Kiffin will not work under Coach Ed Orgeron. That's very plain and clear to see. So if LSU are ever going to get Lane Kiffin, they're going to have to give him the keys to the car. I'm talking about the whole shebang. Like, almost make him athletic director in a way. You know, Scott Woodward would have to give him a ton of control. Lane Kiffin would be very interesting for LSU to get. And you know what? If it's not Coach Ed Orgeron, go get Lane Kiffin. Do whatever it takes to get Lane Kiffin. And I think Scott Woodward would be able to make it happen. I think LSU would have the budget now after some home games and things like that. If things don't go right, everything goes downhill. Lane Kiffin would be a very, very intriguing, attractive, tantalizing, superb, appropriate, exciting candidate for the LSU job. I would be 100% on board with that Lane Kiffin suggestion. But we're not to that bridge, crossing that bridge just yet. More comments. I know you're talking about him as head coach. I know, that's why I'm saying he wouldn't be. There's no way he would ever work under Coach Ed Orgeron, but he would. We would have to give him the keys to the car. We'd have to make him head coach. So yeah, that'd be it. Yeah. Is LSU the 7th best team in the SEC? Trey Martin asks. Well, let's see here. Let's take a look. Wow. You know, you could make a case for us even being the 10th best team in the SEC, because by record it's about that. So yeah, you could make a record. You could make a argument that we're the 10th best team in the SEC right now. That you could definitely say that. But yes, everybody, please donate to CajunRelief.org. Please get that money there. Those people in Louisiana, they need your help. RedCross.org as well. AllHandsInHearts.org. Local Louisiana, kicking some ass, taking some names, helping the people, spreading the love. But, you know, another thing I also want to say, someone was saying something about me about Ty Davis Price, and I'm like, well, yeah, when you only give the guy the ball 8 times, 9 times total with the catch, what do you expect him to do? And for only getting the ball 9 times, he did pretty damn good. Also, there is a stat out there. When Ty Davis Price receives more than 15 carries, he always rushes for over 100 yards. He always scores a touchdown, and LSU always wins. That's the stat line. That's the truth. When he receives more than 15 touches, he always eclipses 100 total yards. He always gets a touchdown, and LSU always wins the game. That is a true statistic. But everybody, please join us next week as well. It's going to be blowing up here. This is just the beginning. A few snafus, but we're good. Everything's going to be ready for next week for Central Michigan. Hopefully LSU will have a better showing there, because this was just not really much to even talk about. Just very tepid on third down, very poor, lukewarm performance. Like jumping into bed and it's, completely covered in piss or something. Like you literally now, before bed, you have to take a shower and get all the vomit off you. Then you have to wash the sheets and the bedding, and then you put on new bedding, and then you realize, oh God, the vomit's still it's seeping into the mattress. Now we got to wash that out. Oh my God. So basically what you have is just a game that just doesn't really make you feel that good, even though there's some strong stuff from the defense and some okay stuff from certain guys. Very, very shocking display from our offense, if you ask me. This is McNeese State. Okay. And they pretty much shut us down. And that's really sad to say. But 34-7, LSU kind of stumble, don't dominate, and they get through. But it doesn't really feel that good. Go Tigers, though. everybody, please join us. And if you are interested in being a guest with us, please reach out to, let me put this out here. That is my Twitter. Please hit me up there, or you can reach Mark Rogers through his Twitter or his YouTube channel, or hit us up through our YouTube channel. But that is my handle for the Twitter. Please give us a follow. See what we have. We post so much content on the Twitter. Post so much stuff on the LSUodyssey.com, on the website. Got to check them all out, baby. And please keep your donations going to those Hurricane Ida relief efforts. And everybody, have a good rest of your night. You have a good Saturday. Hopefully it's better than the way LSU's offense played tonight. Go Tigers, baby.